Could everyone turn on their cameras if they have, please? I think we're gonna start class now.
We wanted to review the punctuation last week. That was one of the topics that we mentioned for review. So that's why I wanted to review it. But I think I think two people asked, but they aren't here today. So would you guys still like to proceed with this as like a review? Yes?
Yeah. You all have to speak. You have to unmute. You can say yes or no if you want
Yes,
to.
Steve. Okay, that's all right. So I'll ignore this. Wait, apologies. So first, and also again, this also relies on participation. So thank you so much, Shanali, for turning on your camera and responding. Can we start with introductions again? Just say your name and then your favorite animal and why.
Okay, I'll even start. So my name's Ramin, and my favorite animal is a penguin because I like the way they walk. So if anyone else wants to go next. We hear you. Oh, we heard you, Tarundi.
My name is Tardini. My favorite animal is rabbit. I like rabbits because they are very beautiful and they have soft body. That's why I like them.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Ravisha, would you like to go?
I think
If you're not comfortable talking, you could always type it in chat as well.
May I tell you? My name is Chanuli, and my favorite animal is dog because they are very friendly to humans.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. So these are the like major punctuations that we use in English. So we have the ones we'll be going over today will be comma, semicolon, colon, full stop, exclamation mark, and question mark. And then I'll go over the other ones as well, the apostrophe, the quotes, the double quotes, um uh as well today, just so we could get like a full review. So here we go. So a question mark is a punctuation mark that indicates an interrogative clause or phrase. An exclamation mark is used at the end of the sentence to express a strong feeling or a strong emotion. And a period is a punctuation mark that expresses the end of the sentence or abbreviation. Okay, so, and these are our basic ones. I'm sure we've seen them, used in almost every or in many sentences. So can we try to make another, I'm sorry. Can we try to make another question? So I already have two examples over here using our question mark. So what is your name and when is your birthday? Can we come up with one more question?
Where do you live?
Yeah, perfect. And we use the question mark at the end. How about the exclamation mark?
Good morning.
Yeah, wow or good morning. These are all expressions that can indicate the either like a strong feeling of like happiness or a surprise. All right, what about a period? This can be like any basic statement, like the grocery store is red. Or my car is
Shiny?
blue. Sorry, one more time?
The sun is shining.
Yeah, perfect. All right, let's move on to commas. Commas are a little bit more complicated because in English, there's many uses for them. So we use commas to separate independent clauses when they are joined by any of these coordinating conjunctions. I remember another thing last week that we talked about that we wanted to review was conjunctions. So I think this is also a good review for that. So the 7 coordinating conjunctions are and, but, for, or, nor, so, or yet. And these conjunctions combine 2 independent clauses together using a comma. So for example, I love vanilla ice cream, but my brother prefers chocolate. So do you see how there's a comma and then we have one of the 7 coordinating conjunctions right here? I'll highlight that. So we have a comma here and then one of the 7 coordinating conjunctions here to create the red color, sorry. There you go. All right. So we have a comma followed by one of the 7 coordinating conjunctions and then followed by the second independent clause. And remember, independent clauses can be like their own sentences. So like I love vanilla ice cream can be its own sentence. My brother prefers chocolate can be its own sentence. That's like a good way to know whether a clause is an independent clause or not. If it can be used as a sentence and make sense, then that's an independent clause. So in this one, I like dogs, but my sister likes cats. So this one uses a comma and then another one of the 7 coordinated conjunctions. All right, so following that, can we make one more sentence with one independent clause, a comma, a coordinating conjunction, and then another independent clause? Also, let me know if I'm going too fast or if you couldn't understand anything. Or if you have any questions about what I said.
If you ever are confused, you can always ask again.
Yes,
Oh,
please.
sorry, Tarundi, go.
I like dogs and my mother likes cats.
Yeah, perfect. So I like dogs, and then comma, and then we have a coordinating conjunction and my mother likes dogs. Perfect.
My bag
So just
was
remember
heavy,
to,
so I
yeah. Oh, sorry. Can you
my
say that one
mother
more time,
help.
Tarudini?
My bag was heavy, so I asked my mother for help.
My bag was heavy. So, comma, so I asked my mother for help. This is great. So just remember, when you see a conjunction with a independent clause before it and an independent clause after, remember to add a comma just before the conjunction. All right, these are great examples. Thank you so much. And I can do the highlighting as well, so it'll be easier for you guys to see. All right. Commas are also used to separate lists. So, for example, George traveled to Spain, France, and Germany. I painted my room white, pink, and blue. Nope, there's a comma missing here. So in this case, you do see the comma and the conjunction pattern. However, remember that this is specifically for lists, and so we aren't requiring like an independent clause for each before each comma. So this is just, we're mentioning objects in a list. All right, can someone give me another example of using commas to separate lists? So one example,
I
I can,
brought
oh, sorry, go ahead, Chanali, sorry.
I brought pumpkin, green grams,
Since
and dal from the fair.
I could not hear the second thing you said, I'm
Green
sorry.
grams, green gram, and dal from the fair.
Green grams? I think I'm hearing you wrong. This is what I'm hearing.
And dal
Oh, and doll,
Dal.
thank you.
from the fair.
That's perfect, thank you. All right. And let's see. Saradini, would you like to go as well? I think I heard you unmute your mic.
from my since my childhood, I like to engaging in aesthetic activities like painting, drawing, and gardening.
Awesome. So I'll just shorten it down really quick. So I like activities like I heard painting, gardening, and what else? Was it dancing the last one?
Drawing? Not drawing.
Oh, drawing, thank you. Awesome. All right. And the other use of commas in English. Also, these are great examples. Thank you so much for sharing. So using commas after introductory phrases or words that come before the main clause. So for example, in the beginning, there was light. So this over here, we have this is the introductory clause. So for example, in the beginning, therefore, hello. These are like types of introductory clauses, and then they're followed by the main clause, which is usually an independent clause, or it is an independent clause actually. So in the beginning there was light. Hello, my name is Sinara. Hi Asiri. Right now we're going over punctuation because last week we someone said they wanted to review it. Okay. And Taradini rejoined. Awesome. All right, so can we come up with another sentence with an introductory clause and then a main clause? Or sorry, I think I said that wrong. An introductory clause followed by a main clause. So one example of an introductory clause is therefore. So try to come up with a sentence using therefore. You can take your time, it's okay.
By the way,
Yeah.
I didn't go to the school.
Perfect. So by the way, I didn't go to school. So by the way is our introductory clause, and that's followed by a comma, and then we have our main clause, which is I didn't go to school. All right. Also these were great examples, and thank you so much for the participation, everyone. All right, so the next punctuation I want to go over is semicolons and colons. So colon is to introduce an explanation right before a summary of your point. and before a list, or when you mean as an example. So in these situations, you usually have an independent clause before the colon. And after the colon, you can have, for example, a summary, a list, or an example. So I can, here, I'll make it short because I understand that the way that this is written is a little strange. So, oopsie. All right, so basically, we'll have our independent clause. And then we'll follow it with the colon. And then after the colon, we could have, sorry, an independent clause. And after the colon, we could have either a list or, sorry, a list or an example of something, of usually, sorry, an example of what was discussed in the independent clause, and then or it's like a summary of your point. So this kind of makes it a little easier to understand. So we have an independent clause followed by either a list and example or summary relating to the independent clause. So for example, my bucket list is short. Take a train ride through Canada to the West Coast and visit several countries in South America. This is an example of a list. It only has two objects in the list, so we don't need to use a comma, but this is kind of this is like an example, or actually no, I'm sorry. This does need a comma. There you go. I'm just, my apologies. So we have my bucket list is short. Take a train ride through Canada to the West Coast, comma, and visit several countries in South America. So for that is an example of using a list. Another example of a list is I painted my room using red, blue, and white. But remember, we could also follow it with an example or a summary. So can we try to come up with a sentence using a independent clause colon and then either an example or summary?
I'm engaging in various sports activities,
Mhm.
semicolon,
Wait,
like
I'm so sorry. Say that one more time. Also, this is colons specific. We'll do semicolons in the second half.
um, I'm engaging in various sports activities, colon, activities, colon, like volleyball, netball, athletics.
Do volleyball. We could do. I know cricket's very famous in Sri Lanka. And what's
Netball.
another game?
Netball.
Netball. Thank you. I haven't heard of netball before. What is that?
Netball. Netball is played played among the girls.
Oh, is it like soccer? Or I mean, football?
Not soccer. So
I think it's a game similar to basketball.
Oh.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's awesome. I didn't know that. Also, I know when you were saying your sentence, you did mention like. So, since we're using the colon, we don't actually have to use the like, but that's great to use in like a regular sentence without a colon. But like the colon in this kind of setting would kind of would replace the like. So I'm engaging in various sports activities, and then you have the colon, volleyball, cricket, and netball. So it kind of replaces the like in that sentence. So that was a great example, by the way. Thank you. All right. So a semicolon is mostly used to link two independent clauses that are related in thought. So when a semicolon is used to join two or more ideas in a sentence, those ideas are then given equal position or rank. So basically, a semicolon is just the combination of two ideas. And I think it's similar to like the conjunction and. So however, the two ideas are related. So we have some people, these are examples. So we have some people write with a word processor, colon, others write with a pen or pencil. However they choose to write, people are allowed to make their own decisions. And then as a result, many people swear by their writing methods. This is a more advanced example of the semicolons, of the use of semicolons. But we can still see that these two that these two sentences are still related to each other, which is one of the main premises of the use of the semicolon. So can we come up with one more example for using a semicolon? We could start with the simple example. So for example, like some people write with word processor, others write with a pencil. Like my dog loves carrots, but her dog loves apples.
Some people buy vegetables from the supermarket, others grow vegetables in their houses.
That's amazing. Thank you. Some people buy vegetables from the market. Semicolon, others buy or others grow vegetables at home. That's amazing. Thank you so much. All right, so I'm going to move on from our semicolon and colon. And looks like we're pretty good on time. Okay, so apostrophes serve two basic functions. It's to show possession and then to indicate that letters have been removed from a contraction. So these are, sorry. So these will be, I'm going to go over the two uses. So use an apostrophe S to show that one person or thing owns or is a member of something. So I know that singular and plural words I think will be something you'll go over in your classes as well. But is everyone clear on what singular words and plural words are? Yes or no? Do you guys feel comfortable in that subject?
Yes, teacher.
Awesome, thank you. Perfect. So these are examples. So we'll use this top let's see. There you go. So these are examples of ways that you can use apostrophes to show that they own something. So for example, Amy's ballet class means that this ballet class is owned by Amy. The parents' bedroom, which is, remember, when it's plural, the apostrophe comes after the S, which is shown here. So we have, when it's singular, the apostrophe is before the S, and when it's plural, the apostrophe is after the S. So the parents are plural, and so we have the apostrophe after the S, which shows the parents own the bedroom. Next, we have Dave and Alice's. Again, this is sorry, this is this shows that both Dave and Alice own the car. And then over here we have Tim's and Jane's trips, which shows that they have two separate trips. Does everyone understand this? And also the reason why I know that this is referring to multiple people, so you would think that it's plural, but remember that this is only this is referencing Alice, even though it's both of their cars. And I know this seems really strange, but since it's like referencing Alice specifically, we have a apostrophe then followed by the S. So you have both Alice, even though they both own the car. Because it wouldn't really make sense to say Davis and Alice's cars. All right, and then we have Tim's and Jane's trips, showing that they have two separate trips. So this might be a little confusing at first, but just keep in mind for like future reference. And would you actually, I think yes. Let's try to create one example for the apostrophe to show that a person or thing owns something. And it can be in any of these forms.
My brother's bag.
Yeah, perfect. My brother's bag. This means her brother owns the bag. All right. Another. Oh, sorry.
The
One more
Royal
ti-
College is a boys' college. Boys' school.
I think the boys. The thing is with that sentence, the boys don't necessarily own the college, but boys is kind of like a way to. It's kind of like an adjective for the college, so it would be kind of spelled. Here, I'll do it over here. But boys college is how it would be spelled. So it wouldn't necessarily be boys college because it's not owned by the boys. But it is okay. But this is okay, answering. They don't own the college, so that's why we can't use it. But this is oh, like that. They own the college. Okay. All right. But that was see. Thank you so much for sharing though, Chanyeling. I really appreciate that. Because it helps everyone learn. All right. So the next use of an apostrophe in English is to combine two words to make a contraction. And I don't I'm not going to speak for other English countries, but I know that Americans love to use these a lot, like in so much of our speech. So another like some even don't use apostrophes. This is an informal English, but like gonna is one where it's just like going to combined into one word, which is like I'm gonna go out to get some ice cream. So yeah, I don't know. I think I don't know. They're used a lot in English. So one example is they have, which is they and have combined, it into they. Um, and also again, remember that when combining these words or using an apostrophe to combine two words to make a contraction, this is this isn't really this is not like formal English. So when you're writing like essays for school, just make sure you stay away from using contractions a lot. Because I know that or growing up in the US, I don't know, they made a very strong point about this to not use contractions, especially in formal essays. So when you guys are writing stuff for colleges or for your schools, uh, don't use these contractions because they are seen as informal in English. So this just as like a side note, but they're still important to know when you're going into English speaking countries because we use these a lot. So we have they and have combined to make they've, and then are and not combined to make aren't. They and will to combine to make they'll, and then one of the ones that people use a lot are I and am combined to I'm. So I'm Sonara. And then we have we have combined to we've. And yeah, so these are like some of the main ones. Can someone make or can someone give me like an example of any of these? So for example, we have they
I
aren't
have,
nice. Oh yes, go ahead.
I
Yes, perfect. So I like I've got a doctor's appointment in the morning. This is a great example. Can someone make a sentence with one of these, please?
I won't be in the school tomorrow.
Yeah, so I won't be in school tomorrow. This is will and not. So this is another example that we do not have up here. I'm running out of space, so what I'm gonna do is make another
got a new car.
yeah, I've got a new car is a good example for this. And I'm so sorry. Caroline, could you repeat your sentence one more time?
I won't be in the school tomorrow.
Yes, I won't be in school tomorrow. Perfect. So the oopsie. Sorry, I used two ones there. So won't is a combination of will and not. All right. This is an amazing example. Thank you, Chanoli and Taradini for sharing. All right, so let's see. And also I'm just gonna put a note on the side, but just remember that this is informal and avoid these when you're writing essays for school or for college. It's just mostly used in conversational English. All right. So this is punctuation practice. All of these, I am so sorry. All of these have incorrect punctuation. And so what I want you to do is tell me, and also these only use the punctuations that we've talked about so far. So everything up to the apostrophe. So remember
There is a,
when we, I'm sorry, go ahead.
there is a question mark after the
Yeah,
sentence.
there's a question mark here. And then remember when we talked about commas after introductory phrases.
After excuse me,
Yep,
there
perfect.
is
So you say, excuse me, comma, is there a gas station nearby?
after no, there is a comma.
Yeah, perfect. Because this is there's a comma and then one of the 7 coordinating conjunctions. And then we talked about theirs, which is a combination of there is. So how would we combine these two words?
Before S, there should be a
An apostrophe. Perfect. I know it's sometimes it's weird to say. What else do we need in this sentence?
Full stop.
Yeah, perfect. So to complete any sentence, we can use either the question mark, the exclamation mark, or the full stop or period. All right, how about C?
after there should be a question mark.
Yeah, perfect, because we are asking a question. Awesome. And then what about D?
Traffic light, after traffic lights, there's comma.
Yes, perfect. So at the traffic lights is an introductory clause. And this is an example of a list. So do you remember the where a comma goes in a list?
After and
It's before and. So commas go before the coordinating conjunction. So we'll have take the first exit, comma, and go straight for 10 miles. So we have a comma and then a coordinating conjunction. And then we have take the first exit and then go straight for 10 miles. Those are our independent clauses, remember? And then they are combined with the comma and then one of the 7 coordinating conjunctions. And in this example, it's and. So we'll have take the first exit, comma, and go straight for 10 miles. Do you have any questions
Full
about that?
stop.
Yes, full stop. We need one at the end. Thank you. So did you have any questions about the comma in the list? Or any confusion about that? I can go over it again.
No teacher.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right. This one also focuses on capitalization, so remember to keep that in mind. And also these this punctuation practice does use our semicolons and colons and apostrophes as well as the commas and yes. So this covers all of what we've worked on.
After cities, there is a semicolon.
Not a semicolon, because remember semicolon combines 2 ideas, or so you'll have 2 like independent clauses on either side of the semicolon, but you're very close.
after Italy, there should be colon.
Yep, perfect. So this is showing a list. So remember in the colons, one of the examples was a list. So we'll have an independent clause, which in this case was he wanted to see 3 cities in Italy. And then it can be followed by either a list, example, or summary. And in this example, we were using a list. And the list was Rome, Florence, and Venice. These are cities in Italy that he wanted to visit. And remember, these 3 cities are listed as a list. So how do we format lists in?
After Rome, there is a comma.
Perfect. And then
After Florence, there
yes,
should be a
perfect.
comma.
Awesome. Thank you so
After
much.
Venice,
That's perfect. And then after
full
Venice, there's one more punctuation.
full stop.
Yes. And then also, keep in mind, this is different from our previous set of examples. But remember that every single sentence in English has to start with a capital letter. So the he would turn into a he, into an uppercase H. Just to keep in mind. All right. B, we have Joanne likes eggs, Jennifer does not.
After X, there should be a semicolon.
Yeah, there can be a semicolon here, or there can even be a comma here. So this separates 2 ideas that are related. So that's why it can be separated with a semicolon, or it can also be separated with a comma. So let me. And also, okay, awesome. All right, how about C and D?
After outside, there should be a comma.
Yes.
After it, there is a apostrophe.
Yes, perfect. Because this is a combination of it and is. Good job.
After friends, there should be a apostrophe mark.
Yes. And since it's talking about my friend, specifically, we would have it right here before the S. Because my friend is a single person. It's not like but again, if you were talking about multiple people, it would go after. So my friend's house. But we're assuming that only one person owns the house in this case. So we're going to use it before the S. And then also remember the capitalization at the beginning. And also, remember that the pronoun I will always be capitalized in English. So, or in English writing. So just make sure you remember that as well. So this I will be capitalized. And then the first letter of every sentence is also capitalized. And then followed by, we could do an exclamation mark for this one or even a period.
After
You should
night,
be
there's a question mark.
Yes, perfect. After night, there's a question mark. And we do have an introductory phrase in this sentence. I know it's not
Y
as
is
common.
capital.
U is capital in the beginning. It's
after today there should be comma.
yes, perfect. So this is our introductory phrase followed by our sentence. Awesome, great job, everyone. Okay, so we have 10 minutes left. Would you guys like to do a monologue practice or a conversation practice? It's up to you since we don't have much time left. So for a monologue practice, I'll have I have two prompts. So one is you have to survive on a deserted island, and then assume you could work with resources, or we could have formal conversation and simulate a job interview, or talk about our favorite TV shows and movies. And I know that this was just a review of the punctuation from our previous class, because I know that we in from our previous classes last, I guess, semester. Yeah, so just also, does anyone have any questions on the double quotes or any of these 8 down here that we didn't cover? Just really quick, we can go over them.
I have a question.
You're
And double quote.
a little bit. Is it okay if you type it in the chat, please? I'm sorry, the microphone is cutting off a little bit. Okay, so square brackets are they're not used in, okay, well, they are used in like formal writing sometimes, mostly in research papers, but I believe they're used here. Oh, sorry, we have 2 questions. Quotes and double quotes. Yes. Actually, I remember I went over this. Oof. Try to remember, I'll go back and do it, but I remember that quotes were when you're referencing someone else's speech within double quotes. So for example, if you're saying the sentence, he said, my doctor said to take 3 pills a day. So it would be, sorry, let me type this out because I understand that what I'm saying could be very confusing. So we'll do this. And we'll just here. All right, so for the semicolons so for the quotes and double quotes question, single quotes are used within double quotes to show someone else's speech. So I could say, he said, my doctor told me to take 3 pills a day. So this would be an example of using single quotes and double quotes. So single quotes can reference speech within speech. So you have the quotes representing any form of speech. Also, quotes can also represent they can mean like, I guess, different things in English as well. It's not always referencing speech, but for like 90% of the time it is. It's just sometimes quotes there was I know that sometimes in speech people will go like this, but it's kind of an exaggeration, I guess. But remember that double quotes are like almost most of the time used for just to represent speech. And then the next thing was square brackets, and I believe that square brackets were oh, I'm sorry. There you go. Okay, so I believe that square brackets, they are used in formal writing sometimes to show or to kind of give further explanation of like a certain subject. So I'll say, so you asked this square bracket. So for example, if I was going to say, he discovered an element in his I'll just like Stanford lab or something like that. Oh, sorry. Stanford lab. And then I could say in square brackets, I could say like, it's obviously not right, but this is just as an example. So in formal speech, you would or sorry, in formal writing, sometimes you will see this in research papers where they'll have square brackets and then kind of like an explanation. Even in historical documents, sometimes the person would have like miswrote something or misspelled something, or the rest of the sentence was not recorded, and so in square brackets they'll fill it out or like have a small explanation. So you'll mostly see this in research papers, but Asiri, you can type it out and then I will read it or look at it when you're done. All right, so would you guys like to do any monologue or conversation? Or actually, I think we could focus on the punctuation if you guys would like. Here.
What
No,
about
that would
that wouldn't
that
count,
would
right?
not be
Yeah.
the
Okay.
correct use for it. So this is again,
Okay.
this is like
Yes.
it's
Nobody saw that.
it's hard to see in it's not really common to see in most writings, but you will see it in research papers or in like translations of historical documents, just to correct like the person's or the original writer's or either to correct or give an explanation of like what the original writer was trying to say. So you could say I just watched the greatest movie, comma, Puss in Boots, period. That would be so
Okay.
we need for that. Or you can use a colon if you'd like to as like an example, I guess. All right, and is there any of these that you wanted to go over? And also remember quotes, or actually, yeah. All right, looks like we are coming up on time for today. So if nobody has any other questions, I think that's it for the punctuation review next, or for this week, sorry. And I'm sorry that we didn't get to do the monologue or punctuation practice. I just kind of wanted to focus on the review for this class, since I know that this was like a topic that multiple people said that they needed help with last class. So I hope that this cleared or refreshed your memory. And so let me know if you guys have any more questions. And remember, we're also available on the on WhatsApp as well. So just let us know if you guys have any other like questions either about this class or about a topic that you would like to cover. So yeah, and I remember for homework, you could either read an English article or watch an English show or movie, and then tell the class what it was about next week. And then just remember to practice conversational English. It's like one of the best ways to start learning English. So yeah, that was all for this week's class. Thank you so much for everyone who participated today.
Thank you so much, teacher. Have a nice
Thank you, teacher. Good night, teacher. Yeah.